The cold finds him before the fear does. It slips under the blanket, through the wool and into his bones. His eyes open to blackness so deep it feels solid. For one wild second he thinks he has gone blind. Then he breathes, and the pain in his lungs reminds him he is still alive. A shape moves nearby, a voice follows. "Ethan," it says, low and rough. "You breathing over there, boy?" He swallows, throat dry. "I am." The voice grunts once. "Good. Then listen close. We've got company." What kind of company, Ethan doesn't ask. Out here there are only two answers. Neither of them are good. October 1832. The Spineback Range doesn't care what month it is. Snow comes when it wants, and tonight it has come early. Ethan lies stiff inside his bedroll, frost crusted into the wool. Pine branches sag overhead, bent low under the weight of white. His muscles ache from yesterday's climb. 20 miles of ridges and deadfall. 20 miles of learning just how foolish a man can be. A few feet away sits Silas Boone, already awake. He always is. His beard is gray and stiff with ice, his eyes sharp in the dark. 15 winters in these mountains, and they still haven't taken him. "Trap's first light," Silas murmurs. "If the river hasn't swallowed them." Ethan nods, then remembers Silas can't see him. Right. Silence settles again. The deep kind. The kind that presses on the ears. Then a sound cuts through it. A snap. Not loud. Careful. Too careful. Ethan's heart stutters. His hand slides toward the rifle beside him. Cold metal bites his fingers. "Don't," Silas whispers. Another smell rides the air, smoke, old wood, not theirs. Silas shifts slowly, reaching for his possibles bag. He pulls out a small cloth-wrapped bundle and loosens it just enough for Ethan to see the dull gleam inside. "Trade beads. High Plains people," Silas breathes. "Keep your hands where they can see them, and don't be brave unless I tell you to." Ethan's mouth feels full of dust. He nods again, harder this time. He thinks of St. Calder's Landing, the river town he left behind. Brick walls, real beds, fires that didn't die if you turned your back. He thinks of how badly he wanted this life. Shapes appear between the trees as dawn grays the sky. One becomes two, then many. Men with painted faces and quiet steps. Rifles. Bows. Eyes that miss nothing. The first steps into the clearing, tall. Still. He looks at Silas, then at Ethan, then at their camp. Silas sits up slowly, palms open. His face shows nothing. "We're just passing through," Silas says, calm as riverstone. "Got trade if you want it, coffee, tobacco." The man says nothing. He speaks to the others in a language Ethan doesn't know. The sound of it makes Ethan's skin prickle. "What are they saying?" Ethan whispers. Silas doesn't look at him. "They're asking if we're taking beaver from this water." Ethan's stomach tightens. The truth could get them killed. The lie might too. "Tell them we just arrived," Ethan says. "Tell them we're moving on." Silas nods once. He gestures west, empty hands, travel signs. The man studies him. Long seconds pass, then he reaches out. Silas hands over the beads, a small pouch of coffee. The man takes them, turns, melts back into the trees with the others. Just like that, the forest exhales. Ethan slumps forward, breath shaking. "I thought..." Silas lets out a dry chuckle. Plenty of time for dying yet. They pack fast. No talking. The sun breaks over the peaks, painting snow pink and gold. It should be beautiful. Ethan only feels tired. They move downhill toward the river. The reason they're here. Flat-tailed ghosts worth more than gold back east. By mid-morning, the roar reaches them. The river is high, angry, cutting through the valley like a blade. Silas drops his pack. We work. The traps are iron and cruel. Ethan helps set them where the bank narrows, hands numb in the cold water. Silas moves with certainty, covering the jaws with mud and leaves, tying chains to stakes driven deep. "Beaver smells this," Silas says, smearing bait on a stick. "Comes curious, steps wrong." Ethan watches, learns, gags once and keeps going. Clouds gather. Snow begins again, slow and heavy. "We need shelter," Silas says. They build it together. A low dome of saplings and pine boughs. Hands blister. Sweat freezes. By the time the fire crackles inside, night has fallen. The small space warms. Smoke stings Ethan's eyes. He doesn't care. They eat jerky, hard, salty, enough. "How long you been doing this?" Ethan asks. Silas stares into the fire. "Long enough." "What keeps you coming back?" The old man pokes the coals. Out here, nothing lies to you. Cold kills you, hunger kills you, men show you their knives. The fire pops. A spark lands on Ethan's leg. He brushes it away. Silas lies down, knife in hand, eyes still open. Sleep, dawn won't wait. Ethan settles into his bedroll. The ground is stone, the wind hums through the trees. As sleep pulls him under, he understands something at last. Survival here isn't heroic, it isn't rare. It's the work of every single day, and tomorrow he'll have to earn it again. Morning comes hard and white. The kind of cold that doesn't wake you so much as punch you awake. Ethan opens his eyes to pale light filtering through pine boughs heavy with snow. His breath fogs instantly. Every joint aches. His hands feel like they belong to someone else. Silas is already moving, feeding the fire, quiet, efficient. Up, he says, before the river changes its mind. They eat without talking. Jerky and melted snow. The shelter smells of smoke and damp wool. Ethan pulls on his boots, stiff as boards. Outside, the forest is hushed under fresh snow, sound swallowed whole. They follow the river downstream. Ethan stays in Silas's tracks like he's been told. The snow is deeper than it looks. Within minutes, his legs burn and his feet go numb. At the first trap, Silas kneels and brushes snow away. He grips the chain and pulls. Resistance. Got one, he says. The beaver comes up slow. Big. Dark. Lifeless. Its leg is caught in the iron jaws. First slick with icy water. Ethan didn't expect it to look so solid, real. Silas works fast. Knife out. Motions practiced. The hide peels away like a heavy coat turned inside out. Steam rises in the cold air. Watch, Silas says, then you'll do the next. The smell hits Ethan late. River mud, wet fur, something musky and sharp. He swallows it down. They reset the trap and move on. The second trap is empty, the third isn't. This one is alive. The beaver thrashes when it sees them, teeth flashing. The sound it makes is raw and ugly. Stay back, Silas says. One clean blow, it's over. Now, Silas says, stepping aside. Your hands. Ethan hesitates, then kneels. His fingers shake at first. He cuts too deep, then too shallow. Blood warms his hands. The hide fights him. Silas corrects him once, then lets him struggle. When it's done, the pelt isn't pretty, but it's whole. That'll do, Silas says. It feels like praise. By the time they return to camp, Ethan is carrying 2 pelts and more weight than his shoulders want to admit. They stretch the hides on frames made from bent branches. The fur gleams even in the gray light. Snow starts falling again. Clothes, Silas says, eyeing Ethan's soaked cotton trousers. Those'll kill you. He pulls a rolled deer hide from his pack, already cleaned. Hair gone. Buckskin, he says. We make you something that works. They work all day. Flesh scraped clean. Brains mixed with warm water and rubbed into the hide until Ethan's arms burn. The smell isn't as bad as he feared. Just strange. Heavy. They stretch it, pull it, work it as it dries, over and over. That's the trick, Silas says, never let it stop moving. By nightfall, Ethan's hands are raw. His shoulders scream. The hide is soft now. Pale. Alive. They smoke it into color. Thick, sweet smoke filling the air. When Silas cuts the hide and hands Ethan a rough shirt and leggings, Ethan stares. They look crude, uneven. He pulls them on anyway. The difference is immediate. The wind dies against his skin. Warmth stays where it belongs. It breathes, Silas says. Cotton don't. That night, Ethan sleeps deeper. The next day, the river changes. The sound wakes him. A deep groan. Ice grinding. Water moving fast. Silas stands at the bank, jaw tight. The river has risen. Brown. Mean. Traps? Ethan asks. Silas spits. Gone or will be. Ethan feels the loss like a blow. Days of work. Iron they can't replace. We need to cross, Silas says. Ethan laughs once, sharp, nervous. Across that? Silas's mouth twitches. We build. They gather willow and pine. Bend it. Lash it. Stretch a hide over the frame. Grease it with rendered fat. The boat looks like something a child would make in a dream. It'll float, Silas says. They load only what they must. Rifles wrapped tight, packs light. The river takes them the moment they push off. The craft spins. Water slaps over the rim. Ethan's heart pounds so loud he's sure the river can hear it. Bail, Silas shouts. They paddle, bail, spin again. Something hits them hard. The boat lurches, water floods in. Abandon, Silas yells. Cold steals Ethan's breath. The river grabs him and doesn't let go. He fights it with one arm, rifle held high with the other. His lungs burn, then his feet hit ground. He stumbles, crawls, drags himself onto the far bank. Silas is there, breathing hard, alive. The boat vanishes downstream. Silas watches it go. Did its job. They make fire fast, strip, dry clothes. Ethan's hands shake uncontrollably until warmth creeps back in. They move uphill, build shelter again, stronger this time. That night the fire feels like a miracle. In the days that follow, Ethan learns without asking. Fire from stone and steel. Dry wood hidden inside dead trees. Fish taken barehanded from clear water. Reading tracks in mud and snow. Look, Silas says, pointing. Everything leaves a mark. A bear passes once far off, they don't speak until it's gone. Deadfalls replace iron traps, they work slower. Still work. Food comes, then doesn't. They make pemmican when a deer falls clean. Dry meat, render fat, mix berries, pack it tight. Insurance, Silas says. One night, as rain hammers the shelter and the fire smokes low, Ethan asks, "Why teach me all this?" Silas doesn't answer right away. "Because this life is ending," he says finally, "and someone ought to remember how it was done." The rain eases, the forest breathes again. Ethan lies back, listening to water drip from pine needles. His body aches. His hands are cut and stained. His mind is sharper than it's ever been. For the first time, the wilderness doesn't feel like an enemy, just a truth, and he drifts to sleep knowing tomorrow will ask more of him. Time stops meaning what it used to. Days are counted by firewood burned and traps checked, by how fast the river rises or falls, by how hungry a man feels when he wakes. Weeks pass. The mountains soften with early summer. Snow retreats into shadowed pockets. The river clears, though it never truly rests. Green returns to the valley, slow and careful, like it's testing whether it's safe. Ethan moves differently now, quieter. He doesn't fight the pack straps anymore. He lets the weight settle where it wants. His hands know what to do before his mind catches up. Silas notices. He never says it. They wake one morning to clear sky and bird song thick in the air. The kind of day that feels borrowed. Silas studies the horizon longer than usual. Warm spells coming. So? Ethan asks. So hunger follows, Silas says. Game moves, meat spoils. They hunt that afternoon. Silas chooses a meadow rimmed with aspen. Frost still clings to the grass. They wait. Long enough that Ethan's legs cramp and his thoughts wander. Then a deer steps into the open. Silas doesn't move, not yet. He lets the animal settle. Lets it forget the forest is watching. The shot is clean, the deer drops. They work fast, field dress, carry, cut. This time Silas lets Ethan lead. They dry the meat. Render fat. Mix berries saved from last fall. Pemmican takes shape under Ethan's hands, dense and heavy with promise. That'll keep us breathing, Silas says. That night Silas talks more than usual. About a winter near the Yellowstone. About storms that buried men alive. About how waiting can be as deadly as moving. Hard part ain't the work, he says. It's knowing when to sit still. The next days test that lesson. The river rises again. Not violent, just enough to remind them who decides. Traps come back empty. One morning, Silas doesn't head for the river. Today, he says, shouldering his pack, you track me. Ethan stares. You serious? Silas nods. I'll give you an hour. He disappears into the trees without another word. Ethan waits, then breathes, then begins. At first the signs are obvious. Too obvious. Broken twigs, compressed needles, a trail that feels staged. He circles, slows down, finds the real sign, a brushed trunk, a bent fern. The absence of dew. He follows for over an hour, loses it, finds it again. Then nothing. He searches wider, notices birds quieting, a spider web torn where no wind touched. Behind you, Silas says. Ethan jumps. Silas stands there, leaning against a tree, almost amused. You missed the log, Silas says. I walked it 50 paces, rocks after. Ethan nods, breathless. I'll see it next time. Silas's mouth twitches. Maybe. Not long after, they find fresh sign that tightens the air. A moccasin print in mud. Silas crouches, studies it. Crow, recent. Dangerous, Ethan asks. Silas shrugs. Everyone is if you surprise them. They break camp the next day. The pelts are ready. 26 of them heavy, valuable, earned. Time for the gathering, Silas says. They move west. The land changes as they go. Forest thins, opens, then closes again. Ethan watches Silas navigate without hesitation, reading ridges and water like sentences. They crest a divide and look down into a new drainage. That's Greenwater country, Silas says. They camp light, no shelter worth naming, just fire and bedrolls. That night, Ethan asks, "You ever go back east?" Silas stares at the fire. "Tried once." "What happened?" "Too many walls," Silas says, "couldn't breathe." They walk again at dawn. By afternoon, smoke smudges the horizon. Voices come next. The gathering. Ethan stops at the tree line. The noise hits him like a wave. Laughter, shouting, horses, dozens of fires, men everywhere. He feels small again. Silas doesn't pause. He angles around, cautious, eyes sharp. They're still moving when figures appear ahead. 3 men, painted armed. Silas lifts a hand, lowers it again. "Crow," he murmurs. "War party." Words pass between them, short, careful. Silas offers tobacco. The men take it. "They're warning us," Silas says when they're gone. "Blackfoot moving this way, maybe 12. Ethan's stomach tightens. "We should tell them." "We will." They push hard, no stops, no talk. They reach the edge of the gathering at dusk. Silas goes straight to a well-dressed man near the center. Speaks fast, clear. The mood shifts. Men sober. Rifles checked, horses pulled in close. The camp changes shape around the warning. Only then does Silas sit. "Done what we can," he says. Ethan watches the fires flare brighter as night settles. He listens to the sound of human voices for the first time in weeks. It feels loud, heavy. Men drift over, ask questions, look Ethan over. One laughs when Ethan mentions the river crossing. "You lived through that?" Ethan nods, quiet. Later the noise fades. Guards pace the edge of the clearing. Silas lies back under the open sky. "You thinking of staying?" he asks. Ethan doesn't answer right away. "Yes," he says finally. Silas nods. No judgment, no praise. "Then remember this," he says, "the land doesn't care what you want, only what you know." The fire crackles low. Ethan stares up at the stars, brighter than he remembers from anywhere else. His body is tired, his mind is full. He understands now. Survival isn't about strength. It's about attention. And tomorrow the world will demand it again. Morning at the gathering arrives loud and restless. Men rise with stiff backs and hoarse voices. Fires are stirred back to life. Horses snort and stamp. The smell of smoke, sweat, and boiled coffee hangs thick in the air. Ethan wakes slower than usual. His body is heavy, worn down to the bone. But there is a steadiness inside him now. A quiet readiness he didn't have weeks ago. Silas is already sitting, sharpening his knife, same as always. "They didn't come," Ethan says, nodding toward the tree line. "Not yet," Silas replies. "Might not at all, or might come when we're not looking. That's how everything works out here, maybe or maybe not. The day unfolds in pieces. Pelts are weighed, prices argued, goods traded, powder, lead, coffee, cloth. Whiskey flows early and hard. Stories grow bigger by the hour. Ethan watches more than he speaks. Men brag about close calls. About bears they swear were twice as big as they were. About winters that nearly killed them. Some of it is true, most of it isn't. But all of it carries the same thing beneath: survival. By afternoon, the camp settles into a rough rhythm. Laughter returns. A fiddle appears somewhere. Ethan stands near the river, rinsing his hands in the cold water, watching it move past. It looks calmer here, tamed almost. He knows better. Silas joins him. "You did good," he says quietly. Ethan blinks. It takes him a second to understand what he heard. "Good enough to live," Silas adds. "That's all that counts." They sit on a fallen log as the sun lowers. For a while, neither speaks. "What happens now?" Ethan asks. Silas shrugs. "Some head home, some head back out. Mountains don't care which." "And you?" Silas looks west, toward higher ground, toward fewer people. "I'll keep moving." Ethan nods. He expected that. A group of men nearby start singing, badly, loudly. Someone laughs until he coughs. Ethan exhales. "I thought I came out here for money." Silas snorts. "Everyone does. But that's not why they stay." Silas's knife pauses. He looks at Ethan then. Really looks. "No," he says. "They stay because out here a man knows the cost of things. Fire costs effort. Food costs blood. Shelter costs time. Nothing's hidden. The sun dips lower. The river turns bronze. "I don't think I can go back yet," Ethan says. Silas nods once. "Didn't think you would." They pack the next morning. Light, efficient. No ceremony. At the edge of the gathering, they stop. Silas hands Ethan a small bundle. a strip of buckskin wrapped tight. "Fire kit," he says, "flint, steel, char." Ethan takes it with both hands. "I can make my own." "I know," Silas says. "This one's already dry." They stand there a moment longer. "Remember," Silas says, "pay attention, that's what keeps you breathing." Then he turns and walks away, already blending into the trees. Ethan watches until he can't anymore. He turns east, toward noise, toward trade boats and streets and walls, but he doesn't move yet. He sits by the river and listens. To water moving stone, to winding cottonwoods, to the quiet beneath everything. He thinks of frostbitten mornings, of fire coaxed from sparks, of hands learning what to do without being told, of a life where survival isn't a moment of crisis. It's the daily condition. When he finally rises, he does so slowly, carefully. The mountains don't notice. The river doesn't pause. But Ethan does. He walks away carrying more than pelts. He carries a way of seeing. And somewhere behind him, the wilderness closes its tracks. Part 4, total 918 words. If you felt this tale in your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Historian Sleepy P, where quiet voices, timeless stories, and gentle history guide you into peaceful sleep. Good night and rest well.